Hey guys, welcome back to Rantant. Today, I'm breaking down something you definitely don't want to miss. If you're like me, you're already marking your calendar for June 24th, the day Ironheart finally lands on Disney+. And guess what? Marvel just dropped a list of 8 MCU projects you should absolutely check out before diving into Riri Williams' high-octane story. And trust me, it's not just for nostalgia. Some of these picks hold actual secrets that will shape the entire series. So let's break this list down and I'll explain exactly why each one matters and what details you might have missed the first time around. Iron Man from 2008. Let's start with the original film that kicked off the MCU. This is where it all began. Tony Stark, the billionaire genius who built a suit of armor in a cave with a box of scraps. Now here's why this matters for Ironheart. Not only is Tony the spiritual predecessor to Riri Williams, a young tech prodigy building her own armor, but this movie also introduces Obadiah Stane. Fans believe he will be tied to Ironheart through his son, Zeke Stane. Zeke is rumored to be a major player in the show, and if he's even half as ruthless as his dad, we're in for a wild ride. So definitely rewatch this one. Next, Iron Man 2 from 2010. This is the movie where Tony's legacy really starts to get challenged, both by the government and by rivals like Justin Hammer and Whiplash. Now, why does this connect to Riri? Because this is the movie that emphasizes how dangerous Tony's tech can be when it falls into the wrong hands. That same theme will likely be central in Ironheart, as Riri builds her own suit while trying not to repeat Tony's mistakes. Also, Riri's entire vibe mirrors Tony's early genius. She's cocky, driven, and trying to figure out her place in a much bigger world. Iron Man 3 from 2013. This one's underrated. Seriously, Iron Man 3 shows us a Tony Stark dealing with trauma and questioning whether the suit makes the man or the other way around. More importantly, it introduces a different kind of villain, the mystical illusion of the Mandarin, played by Trevor Slattery. Even though Trevor turned out to be a fraud, this film still laid the groundwork for the mix of tech and magic, which just so happens to be the central conflict of Ironheart. Riri's main foe in the show is the Hood, a villain who blends mysticism with street-level crime. More on him in a moment. Now let's flip to the magic side with Doctor Strange from 2016. This film gives us our first real taste of the mystical arts in the MCU. Sorcerers, ancient relics, and Dormammu. Why is this important? Because in the comics, the Hood gets his powers directly from Dormammu. So don't be surprised if Ironheart taps into that same dark dimension lore. That red cloak the Hood wears? It's not just for style, it's literally how he taps into demonic energy. Doctor Strange lays the foundation for this connection. Moving forward to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness from 2022. This sequel takes the magical chaos to a whole new level. Multiverse travel, dreamwalking, and Wanda Maximoff on a tear through reality itself. The real takeaway here is how uncontainable magic has become in the MCU. If Riri is going to face someone like the Hood, she needs to think beyond technology. She'll likely have to adapt her tech to counter magic, just like Strange had to think beyond spells. Now to Black Panther from 2018. Even though Riri doesn't appear in this film, it lays critical groundwork. This is our first trip to Wakanda, the most technologically advanced nation in the MCU. A place where science and tradition coexist. This is the world that eventually welcomes Riri in Wakanda Forever. Watching Shuri's lab, Wakandan tech, and the cultural context helps us understand the environment where Riri's next-gen armor is born. Look at this one again, especially Shuri's role. She's the perfect mentor figure for someone like Riri. Now we get to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever from 2022. This movie is Riri's live-action debut. She appears as a brilliant MIT student who casually builds a vibranium detecting device and ends up on Wakanda's radar. But there's more. This is where Riri gets her first armor suit, a rough prototype, and later, her upgraded Ironheart suit built in Wakanda. And that suit, it's probably what we'll see again in the series, if not a refined version. Also, her chemistry with Shuri? It's excellent. This movie shows that Riri isn't just Iron Man 2.0, she's carving out her own unique identity in the MCU. Finally, What If? Season 3, Episode 5. This one's a wild card. In this animated alternate universe episode, we see a different version of Riri leading a resistance against Mysterio, who has taken over Stark Industries and built an army of murder bots. While this episode isn't canon to the main MCU timeline, it still offers a look at how capable Riri can be as a leader and innovator. It shows Marvel is already exploring just how far they can take her character. And with Ironheart dropping its first 3 episodes on June 24th, we're in for a fresh Marvel experience, one that's just as much about heart as it is about hardware. Now you know what to binge before the series drops. And if Marvel's usual pattern holds, some of these rewatch moments might end up being more than just setup. They could be actual clues to the storyline ahead. If you found this breakdown helpful or caught something you hadn't noticed before, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the breakdown crew. More theories, more hidden details, and more frame-by-frame breakdowns coming your way, so stick around. This is just the beginning.